Miami's not playing a game in the 305 this weekend. They're going to take their talents out to Dallas, Texas, Highland Park, I guess, more specifically. Miami at SMU, 12 Eastern, ESPN, so you'll finish up College Game Day. You'll get McAfee's final pick. You'll tune into this one. Currently, Miami, a 12.5-point favorite over SMU. This game opened over at BetMGM at 10.5, so gone up 2 points towards the Hurricanes. For Miami, it's you versus you, brother. It is you versus you, and that's not me speaking anything less of what SMU is from a personnel perspective, but we're all adults here. We all understand that line is what it is for a reason. If Miami plays their best ball, they will win this football game. Are you able to, what we just said about Carson Beck, the segment before, are you able to, as a football team, have a pro mindset, take the loss from Louisville, flush it out, take the win over Stanford, flush it out, and bring your best to the table with a 11 a.m. local kick? 12 Eastern, 11 a.m. local for the good folks out there in Texas. Get up, play your best ball, handle business on the road. That is what is at the crux of the discussion here if you are Miami. Now for SMU, the line is what it is. But hey, man, you only got one loss in ACC play. You lost to Wake Forest last week by a point. Rip your heart out. You got one loss in the ACC. You're very much still in it. You go ahead and handle business the rest of the way. You win out. Maybe you get some help. Maybe you find yourself in a situation where you're playing for the conference title. But that only happens if you have a tiebreaker over Miami. Because Miami, I mean, they got one loss too when it comes to the ACC. So we'll see what happens there the rest of the way. But just something to think about here for SMU. I think a lot of people have sort of punted on the idea of them having the magic they had from a year ago. They're still in the mix here. They are still in the mix. And remember now, Rhett Lashley at one point in time was at Miami as an OC. So maybe there's a little bit extra personal element here for old Coach Lashley. We'll see. For SMU, the path to victory for you here is being able to recreate what Louisville did to Miami. Find your matchup, much like Louisville did. Get the ball to their wide receiver, Chris Bell, who got after Miami. The matchup I'm looking at here for SMU as being a potential advantage is Romello Brinson, leading receiver for SMU, was previously at Miami. So he knows a lot of guys on that roster. Have to imagine he's familiar with a bunch of those guys, having been his former teammate. If you can force feed him the football and just go to him consistently and have him be your answer on 3rd and long, red zone, whatever, that's the way that you end up winning this football game. Because, again, the line is what it is for a reason because Miami overall has better players. But if you can just find your one matchup and go to it consistently and abuse that, that's how you win the football game. Other thing Louisville did at a very effective level against the Hurricanes, speed up Carson Beck. Speed up Carson Beck, more opportunity for mistakes. Mistakes usually equate to turnovers in college football. If you can get a couple extra possessions against this Miami team and maybe you have them a little bit out of sorts again, that's how you give yourself a chance to win this game at home. And then the last part of this, Kevin Jennings has got to be awesome for you. It just has to be. Like, I think overall, the structure, if you went your players versus their players in the confines of your plays versus their plays, Miami is going to win this game. That's what the line says. That's what I'm telling you. That is, I think, pretty straight up here. But if you're SMU and you're able to win the out-of-structure stuff, the play breaks down, Ruben Bain gets after Kevin Jennings spins out of it, eyes downfield. At that point in time, personnel isn't minimized, but I think it is maybe mitigated a little bit there when it comes to what Kevin Jennings can do for you. Scrambling, picking up the hidden yardage, all those things, yards that maybe aren't drawn up for or accounted for when it comes to your scheme. That is something Kevin Jennings can do for you, will have to do for you in this game where you say, yeah, we had the right play called, had the right pressure called, but number 7 just had the cape on that day, man, for SMU. So if that's the way it goes, that's a way that could favor SMU in this football game. SMU, we have got to have the north and south game plan. There is no way. It's got to be north and south. It cannot be the whole put the ball on the perimeter, try and get a little bit cute with it. It's got to be we're going downhill. We're staying ahead of the sticks, inside zone. We'll take power. We'll take trap, whatever it is. It's got to be north and south. You're not going to win on the perimeter against this Miami defense. They're too physical, too aggressive. Now, what you can do here is maybe dial up a little play action, a little screen and go, but I like SMU a little bit more with north and south game plan. Against Wake Forest, SMU tried to get a little bit cute early on. They had their first 14 plays, and 9 of them went for 0 yards or less. Can't have that same kind of start if you want to beat Miami. Now, if you want to get to this game, best way to do that is with game time. And those of y'all that have followed this show for a while, man, Game Time has been good to us. Game Time has been good to you if you've been using the code to get your first purchase and save yourself some money. If you're saying, what's Game Time? Game Time is the fast, easy, safe, effective, affordable way to buy tickets. And if you're saying, maybe, JD, I want to get to this game, but I'm not sure yet. I want to just kind of hold off a little bit and see how my week goes. And if I'm feeling like going and getting to a game on Saturday morning, if you want to do that, it's more than fine with you. It's your prerogative. But you can buy tickets the morning of this game using Game Time. Also, you can see the view from your seat before you buy the ticket. You're not sitting behind the Jumbotron or not sitting behind some weird structure in the stadium. You'll know what you're going to see from your seat using the Game Time app. You can view your seat before you buy, and it's the best way to avoid any surprises on Saturday whenever you're trying to get to a football game. So, if you hear nothing else, hear this. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code HARDCOUNT for $20 off your first purchase. Again, HARDCOUNT, HARDCOUNT for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed swipe, tap, ticket. So make sure you lock in there with Game Time. I think Miami's going to control the line of scrimmage. I really do. I think that when you look at the way that SMU wasn't able to really get a push against Wake Forest, I don't like that transitive property going for the Miami defensive line. Like, I don't think that you're going to get a better push against Miami than you did Wake Forest, just quite frankly. I think when you look at Miami offensively, though, that's where this kind of gets interesting because Miami, they want to run the football. SMU's done a pretty good job stopping the run this year. Top 10 in America when it comes to yards per carry allowed. So you look at the games where SMU's had trouble stopping the run. Why have they had trouble stopping the run? Because Baylor and TCU gashed them in the passing game. Josh Hoover, Sawyer Robertson, I think combined went for something stupid of like 750 yards or north of that. Just ridiculous. When they were able to throw the football, guess what? Then they were able to run the football. So the same formula, I think, is in play here for Miami when it comes to their desire to run the football. Let's throw it first. Malachi Toney, let's get it to CJ Daniels, whoever you pick a name. Pick any name you want to. Put the ball in the air. Let those guys eat. Loosen up that box. And when that happens, then turn around, power run game, inside zone run game. It doesn't matter north and south. When you do that, I think then you really have SMU on the ropes. So, again, Baylor and TCU had over 100 yards rushing because they were so effective throwing the football downfield and making that second and third level of the SMU defense be a little bit on edge, okay? So, it's a great culture test for Miami. It's a great mindset test for Miami. You're 2 weeks post-loss. You got 20 new players via the portal. You're on the road for an 11 a.m. kick, like I already mentioned, and you're playing a team in SMU now who's coming off of a heartbreaking last-second loss in ACC play. They were on the road. They're coming back home. They're desperate. Can you take all those external variables, block them out, and play your brand of football? Miami brand of football, where Carson Beck plays clean, doesn't turn it over, they will win this game. Hear me loud and clear. So what's our take? Do we think that happens? I do. I think that Miami's going to benefit from the lack of spotlight they've had the last couple of weeks. I think the pressure of being this number one team, number two team in America, and not having that anymore on their plate is maybe going to serve them well. Sure, it's an early kick. Sure, it's a road trip. I don't care. I think Cristobal will have them dialed in and ready to roll. I think Miami will be the more physical team on Saturday. I think they win. I think they cover. Final score, Miami 34, SMU 20. The Canes get a win in Texas and head back home with their playoff hopes alive and hoping for some magic to get them into the ACC title game and rooting for some losses from Georgia Tech and or Virginia.